Hi, this is Ethan, and today I am going to do a video on how to pack Tangiers in a Tangiers funnel bowl. First of all, Tangiers is a little odd from other shishas. First of all, it has to be stored in a Tupperware container. Depending on which line you have to get, it sometimes has to be acclimated, which just is exposed to the air for a couple hours. And before you use it, you need to stir it and make sure you can kind of see the glisten on the shisha. It needs to be shiny all over before you stick it in. You just got to really get the juices flowing. There's several different ways to pack this stuff. I've watched quite a few videos when I was learning how to pack this stuff, and really this kind of just, you have to find your own nook on how to do this. This is the way I do it. This is what works best for me. It may not work best for you, but for me, I just kind of picked out things from other videos and just kind of stuck them together, and that's how I got this. So maybe this will help someone either completely or part of the way. I will use a fork for the initial packing, and I'll show you what I mean here. Basically, what I do is I stab it and I get a big chunk like that, and I just shove it in there. It doesn't really matter if you get it in the spire, because you can just kind of poke it out and it'll be okay. But when I'm just loading it up, I just kind of use the fork and I just kind of shovel it in there. No real rhythm or rhyme to it. As you can see, it's pretty full. Now the next thing that makes Tangiers a little bit unique is you have to literally shove this stuff in there. It is meant to be packed dense, and I just kind of take my fork and I just kind of press it down and around, and then I just kind of switch around and go the other way with the fork. Now I'm going to use my fingers for the rest of this now that I have a bunch of it in there. Just kind of clear out the spire. Shoot, yeah, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to take my finger and I am going to just press around the bowl, just kind of mash it all down. Also with Tangiers, I think I already mentioned this, but you do not pull out the stems when you're packing the bowl. The stems actually have a lot of flavor in it, so do not pull those out. Keep mashing this down. Basically what you want when you're done with this, let me see, there we go. Okay, see this, the rim of the spire right here? You want it packed to the rim of the spire. You do not want it packed to the rim of the bowl. Like in my other video, I pack it to the rim of the bowl. I only do that if I am using Starbuzz or Fantasia or something else that's a medium cut. I do not do that with Tangiers. That is a huge no-no. It will burn and it will taste disgusting, and it will not even feel pleasant actually, because burnt Tangiers is bad Tangiers. Me almost done with this part. You really want to try and mash it down so that no coal is really going to touch this stuff. Okay, I think that is good. Okay, right about there. See how it's just kind of packed up to the spire, but it is not up to the rim of the bowl? That is what you want. That is good, and it needs to be packed in there densely. Back with the next part. Okay, as you can see, I'm going to wash my hands, and I want to do this first. I like to Tangiers, actually just with the funnel bowls in general, you always seem to get a lot of black crap around the rim. So I like to take some toilet paper or paper towel, and I just run along the top, and I just kind of get, yeah, it just kind of cakes on there and it looks gross, but I just like to kind of get some of that stuff off before I put it on. Now, as you can see, You cannot see any shisha sticking up from the top of this, except for that one little lone one right there. Okay, but you should never be able to see shisha sticking up from the top of this. As I said before, only packed to the tip of the spire. The next thing I like to do is a little thing called the foil test. Just kind of lay a piece of foil on there, and I put my palm and I twist the bowl. And basically what that does is it kind of gives me an imprint of the inside of the bowl, so I can kind of see shit. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of see the imprint of where everything is. Like, this is real smooth, and it looks like I need to flatten that part out a little bit. So, and I go with my finger again. Now that that is flattened out, one piece just keeps sticking up. Okay, so that is the foil test, and that's what I do. Just kind of reminds me a little bit like sonar. Just kind of gives you an idea what's going on down there. The next part is obviously putting the foil on the bowl. I only use one sheet for Tangiers. I do not dare use two because I am afraid that it will burn ridiculously fast. And as I said before, burnt Tangiers is bad Tangiers. It is burnt Tangiers is the worst tasting burnt shisha I've ever had in my entire life. You will know if it's burnt. It's foul. But let me make sure you want the foil on this really tight because you don't want a coal touching this stuff at all. You really want to get an oven effect going inside of your bowl. So there's my tight top. Let me get my picker real quick. Got it. I like lots of small holes in my Tangiers when I'm smoking it, so I use a little safety pin. There we go. Kind of think of the name. I always use lots of holes when I'm doing this, so I apologize if I don't do this very fast, but I'm actually going to smoke this when I'm done, and I actually want it to taste good. So, but I try to run tight hole groups around the very rim of the bowl. I really want 3 lines fairly close to each other with tight grouping. And another thing, some people like to use the safety pin and go all the way down to the bottom of the bowl, kind of poke air tunnels through. I don't like to do that because I kind of feel like this works like a pitchfork, and when I did it, it dragged a lot of it back up and actually matted it against the foil, so my bowl actually tasted like shit. So I had to take it off and redo it. So I don't like that method of poking all the way down to make some air shafts. If you can get it to work, more power to you. It just doesn't work for me. Okay. Now I just kind of get a little sporadic up here. There we go. That should be good. And I always like to do a group of 4, kind of in the middle. So there's my holes. Lots of little small ones. I am going to set up my hookah now, and I'll show you how this stuff smokes. So one rule of thumb that I found when I'm smoking this, at least for me, again for me, if I put the coals on this and I hear sizzling, pack too high. I need to take it off, and I need to either push it down more or I need to take some out. If it sizzles, I'll admit it smokes great for a couple minutes, but then after that, not so great. So, again, that's rule of thumb for me. May not work for you. If you can handle it, more power to you. But I like to use the wind cover on it for about the first 5 or so minutes, just to kind of get the heat real built up and kind of get the oven effect going, since the coals aren't touching the shisha at all with this one. I just kind of toke on it a little bit as I'm doing this to get some heat going through it. Not big yet, but it's getting there. So is my buzz. Um, ooh. When I take this off, I rotate the coals 90 degrees, and then I just let her go from there. When the coals start to die down, I slap another one on. Bowls like this, packed this way, I mean, they last forever. I've smoked a bowl when I've packed it like this for 3 hours with a friend, which was actually, I'm using the same shisha. It's that one breakfast cereal. So, I mean, you pack it like this, it'll last for a long time. With Tangiers, if you don't like to smoke that long, I kind of feel like you waste some tobacco, but really, you get a lot of flavor out of this. I mean, it's pretty well worth it. It's a rewarding tobacco. But this is Ethan. This is how I pack my Tangiers funnel. It may not. It may work for you. If it does, great. Hopefully, maybe you can pull out a segment of it and use that, maybe help you with it if you're learning how to do it. When I first was learning how to do this stuff, I used half a box of coconaras, experimenting on ways that work best for me. So there's a bit of a learning curve to it, but if you can learn how to do it, again, it's a very rewarding shisha. So this is Ethan. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps. Hope everyone has a nice night.